What has been revealed with the scientific researches and observations is that about 13.8 billion years ago, a hot, dense mass exploded. By the course of time, the temperature cooled enough so that atoms and finally stars and galaxies could be formed, which among them our Sun was born about 4.6 billion years ago, and our Earth is created approximately 4.5 billion years ago. The universe was continuously expanding due to the repulsive force released by the bang of the Big Bang, but the speed of the expansion was decreasing due to gravitational pull of galaxies on each other. The process of deceleration continued for the first 9 billion years of the creation until suddenly about 4 or 5 billion years ago it changed phase and started acceleration. What is the cause for positive acceleration of the expansion? It is not yet discovered or proven, but scientists named it dark energy and stared to propose theories for its origin and properties, which the number of these theories is exceeding the 1,000. Quran says that earth and heavens were combined together and God has separated them from one another, which is compatible with the modern science discoveries and Big Bang theory. Did the unbelievers not realize that the heavens and the earth were one solid mass? Then we tore them apart and we made every living being out of water? Will they then not believe? Quran confirms the expansion of the universe and says, "And it is we who have built the universe with power, and verily it is we who are steadily expanding it." What reveals from the verses of a Naziat chapter in the Quran, a lot of stars and galaxies were created before Earth, and then God created the Earth and its creatures. Are you more difficult to create than the heaven which he has built? High has he reared its vault and formed it in accordance with what it was meant to be. And he has made dark its night and brought forth its light of day, and after that the earth. Wide has he spread its expanse, and has caused its water to come out of it, and its pastures, and has made the mountains firm. It means that, rearing the vault of sky or heaven, which points out the creation of stars and galaxies, and bringing night and day that points to the creation of sun, all happened before Earth's creation. Then God created earth and other creatures on it, including rivers, pastures, and mountains. And logic also suggests such an order of creation because the Milky Way is a base for our sun, and before it, creation of sun meant nothing, and so sun is the base for our planet Earth and other planets of solar system, which before sun, creation of earth and its living creatures such as pastures was impossible. But what is mentioned in the Quran as the creation of 7 heavens is completely a different subject. And it took place after creating earth and its living creatures, as God mentions it very obviously in 2 different chapters of the Quran. He it is who has created for you all that is on earth, then has applied his design to the heaven and fashioned them into 7 heavens, and he alone has full knowledge of everything. And Quran mentions it in another place with more details. Say, would you indeed deny him who has created the earth in 2 days? And do you claim that there is any power that could rival him, the sustainer of all the worlds, and placed firm mountains on it, above its surface, and bestowed blessings on it, and equitably apportioned its means of subsistence to all who would seek it, in 4 days? Then he applied his design to the heaven, which was smoke, and he said to it and to the earth, "Come both of you, willingly or unwillingly." To which both responded, "We do come in obedience." And he decreed that they become 7 heavens in 2 days, and imparted unto each heaven its function. And we adorned the heaven nearest to the earth with lights, and made it secure. Such is the ordaining of the Almighty, the All-Knowing. Analyzing the above verses of chapters Al-Baqarah and Fussilat, we recognize that in the Quran, creation of heaven and earth is one subject, and creating earth and 7 heavens is completely a different issue. So according to Quranic verses, after the Big Bang or separation of earth and heavens, a lot of stars, planets, and galaxies were created, which is referred as creation of the heaven or sky in the Quran. Then God created earth and its creatures, but on the boundary of galaxies, or what we see today as the observable universe, there was a huge amount of gas and smoke. After creating earth and its creatures, God ordered this smoke to arrange itself as 7 separated heavens, one above the other. So anything we see from stars and galaxies by naked eye or telescopes, all are located inside the first heaven and surrounded by it. What reveals from the Quranic verses about the heavens, it appears that 7 heavens are like 7 balls, one ball inside the other one. Or in another interpretation, 7 heavens are like an onion having 7 layers, with this difference that the layers of onion are stacked on each other, but the 7 heavens are separated from one another and there is a huge space from one heaven to the other. One of those verses is the following: "And we have built above you 7 heavens." What that makes this verse important from our point of discussion is the Arabic word fawqakum, which means above of you. This verse mentions that the 7 heavens are above us or all humans, since the shape of earth is spherical. Then above of earth will mean that heavens must have surrounded us from all directions. Another important point in this verse is that God did not mention that he had made the 7 heavens above the earth using the Arabic word fawqalharth, which means above the earth. If it was mentioned that 7 heavens are above the earth, then it was possible to propose a single special direction as the upward direction that the heavens were located, and an opposed direction as the downward direction that the earth was located. But instead, God used the word fawqakum, which means above of you humans, and since the humans are located all around the surface of the earth, so heavens must be spherical surrounding us, earth and all the galaxies we see. Another chapter of Quran that explains this fact with more precision and details is the chapter of Nuh, verses 15 and 16. "Do you not see how God has created 7 heavens in full harmony with one another, and has set up inside them the moon as a light and set up the sun as a lamp?" What makes these verses important for us is that after mentioning the creation of 7 heavens, God specifies the location of moon and sun in the universe and says that they are located inside the 7 heavens. The Arabic word fihenna means inside them or inside the 7 heavens. So for the sun and moon to be inside the 7 heavens, there is only one possibility that the 7 heavens must be hollow spheres, one inside another, and have surrounded the sun and moon from all directions. Analyzing the 3 verses from chapters An-Naba and Nuh, we come up with this conclusion that 7 heavens are like 7 hollow spheres or like 7 balloons, one inside the other one, and they have surrounded us, moon, the sun, and all the galaxies we see around us. In other words, we and our observable universe is located inside the 1st heaven, that itself in turn is inside the 2nd heaven, and so on up to the 6th heaven that is located inside the 7th heaven. As we have mentioned earlier that the expansion of the universe had 2 phases. In the first 9 billion years from the Big Bang, it was expanding due to the released force from the Big Bang itself with a decelerating rate. But since 4 or 5 billion years ago, the universe expansion changed its phase and started from decelerating to accelerating. So in these last 4 or 5 billion years, an extra push is needed beside the force of the Big Bang, which is named dark energy. And remember another scientific and geological fact, that the age of the Earth is roughly about 4.5 billion years. So in accordance to science, the acceleration phase off the universe started sometimes close to the creation of the Earth. Now let's refer to the Quran, as it mentions that before Earth creation the 7 heavens were dispersed smoke, and after God created the Earth and its creatures in 4 days, that each day is equal to 1,000 years. Then he ordered to that dispersed amount of smoke to concentrate in 7 separated layers, making 7 heavens in 2 days. So Quran says that the heavens were created close to the time of Earth creation. And here comes out the bolide. Science says that close to the time of Earth creation there was an extra push to the expansion of the universe, which is continuing up to now, and Quran says that close to the time of Earth creation God created the 7 heavens. As long as 7 heavens are huge concentrations of masses, such that the 1st heaven is larger than all of our observable universe, then we cannot ignore the gravitational pull of the 1st heaven on the galaxies, meaning that the origin of this extra push to the universe expansion is caused by the gravitational force of the 1st heaven. According to the laws of gravity, the closer you are to center of the gravity, the stronger will be its pull on you. So those galaxies that are close to the 1st heaven, the gravitational pull will be stronger on them and they will move faster, but those that are farther away from it will experience less gravitational pull from the 1st heaven and so will move slower. And we on Earth will see it as the universe expansion and galaxies receding from one another with an accelerating rate. So according to Quran, the cause of acceleration for the universe expansion is the gravitational force of the 1st heaven, which is created about 4.5 billion years ago after the Earth creation. And this compatibility between Quran and cosmology is one of the revolutionary miracles of Holy Quran.